Okay, following on from Philippinite sculpture, we're going to look very briefly at Bilitonites. Bilitonites come from Biliton Island, which is in Indonesia. It's a little bit further away from the impact site than most Philippinites, but probably a similar distance to the southernmost Tektites in Mindanao. They are overall quite similar to Philippine Tektites. The bulk of them, you could tell the difference between a Philippine Tektite and a Bilitonite, but some of them you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They look identical. I've got some here. Excuse me one moment, I'll just grab them. Okay, Bilitonites are very, very heavily etched. You can see that in these specimens. A little bit sticking out. Very deep grooves. A lot more grooves than Philippinites. That's one of the key distinguishing factors. Same here. This is a very large specimen. This is one of the largest Bilitonites that are going. So this gives you an impression of what we're seeing. Basically with Bilitonites, I would refer you to my section on Philippinites. The formation method is really exactly the same. I think these ones are simply a little bit more etched. And there may be a factor that's slightly further from the impact site as well, coming into these specimens. But primarily the difference in Bilitonites is that they are more etched in the ground. One thing with Bilitonites is they tend to be slightly smaller overall actually, and you don't get the same diversity as these large ones from Paracale, which Paracale is definitely close to the impact site. They tend to be a bit smaller, so you get these forms here. This is about as large as it gets, but commonly maybe more this size, and these are effectively biscuit forms, cores. So they tend to be smaller, typically like this, very rarely this size here, and I'm told that you just don't get the big spheres, you don't get the bread crust specimens like you do in the Philippines, but you get ones which are equivalent to biscuit forms here. So it wouldn't surprise me if incredibly rarely you did get the bread crust forms and spherical forms in Biliton, but they're probably so incredibly rare that I haven't heard of them ever, and neither have the miners. So you just get the lot more commoner biscuit type form. I'll just show you a few more. So here are a few more Bilitonites. I've got quite a nice collection here, quite a few fine specimens, and just one more sheet. Yeah, and these are quite typical size specimens. Very equivalent basically to these ones here. This is a Philippine one. Basically very equivalent to these. Okay, so look at the Philippinite formation page to get an idea of how these formed. They're basically cores. They were oriented. They came through the atmosphere like that, and the glass spooled off. Okay, so that will conclude the Bilitonites for now.